Good morning, Bob Sokoler, Louisville Real Estate Show, News Radio 840 WHAS. Hello.
Hi, Bob. This is Scarlett. My agent recommended a home inspector for the house I'm buying. We received the inspection report yesterday, and I don't understand it. There are no pictures. There's handwriting all over it. My inspector says my real estate agent can tell me what it means, and my agent says he can't be responsible for understanding chicken scratch. I picked the inspector, but the inspection is worthless to me. What can I do?
So what's going on, guys, with inspectors who don't use photography, who don't use typed?
Well, unfortunately, there's not a standard as far as communicating well with your clients. There is an expectation, obviously, in the industry, and there are some inspectors that still have not sort of caught up into the 1990s yet.
Why isn't there a standard? That's the first thing I have to ask you.
Directing the format of the report is just not something that the Commonwealth of Kentucky or any other state does either. As far as saying you must report it this way, they leave it up to the free market system basically to weed out the bad and to help the good thrive.
Same thing with the agents. We're not all created equally. Although
no, I know, but we live to standards. There are standards we have to we're required.
Well, there are standards within the home inspection industry that we have to abide by as well.
But the report itself,
right?
Like photography, not all
agents
hire out.
There's some minimal standards as far as what you must describe, how you must address things, but as far as the report requiring photos, etc., you don't. Now, I would say generally go with the agent who's giving you a recommendation, because that's somebody you've got a relationship with. They probably trust somebody already. That's generally a good idea. But go onto the website for that home inspection company. Make sure you can understand that report. Make sure that it's, as you read their sample reports, and everybody should have a sample report out there. If you can't understand it, that's not going to do you any good.
I'm going to make your job a lot harder right now. All right? I'm playing devil's advocate. What about the person who says, I'm not going to take the recommendation of my realtor because he's going to recommend somebody who does a very cursory overview of the house so that he can get the sale done? Yeah, I've heard this before, so I'm bringing it up.
I've heard it too. And I would say if that's the kind of relationship you have with your agent, probably should get a different agent, because the relationship that you've got with your real estate agent should be one of trust, and the relationship that you should have with your home inspector should be one of trust as well. And so if you don't have a home inspection company that you know and trust, ask your agent. They probably have a few that they've worked with in the past that they can suggest or recommend. If it's a new agent, or if you're doing your homework on your own, go online, look at reviews, and look at the reports. You can get a really good idea of how professional a company is and how well they're communicating by looking at their reports.
And I'm going to go one step further. On behalf of all of my fellow agents here in Louisville and Southern Indiana and the rest of the country, let me point something out to you folks. The last thing we want as agents is for you to be upset as a buyer and come back and say, your home inspector missed this or that or the other thing. There's two reasons. One, we never want to have an upset or unhappy client, and a buyer would be very upset if there was a problem. But more importantly, we know, because we train on this every year, that buyer can come back on us, on the inspector, and sue, take us to small claims court or to mediation, arbitration, if there was something that was missed and we were involved in it in terms of not answering it properly up front. So know that that's the last thing we want to do, but more importantly, the last thing we want to do is have a bad relationship with a past client. So that's why you will not see a real estate agent sending you to somebody who is unproven. We want tough inspections of our homes because we don't want anybody coming back at us and saying, hey, you missed this. It just doesn't work for us.